for a while.
The Nebraska Lottery. 30 years of building a better Nebraska.
Some kids worry about making the sports team. Others worry about where they'll sleep tonight. Lincoln 300 kids are in need of a safe and loving home. Cedars is here for them, but we do need your help. A gift to Cedars makes an immediate impact on Lincoln's kids. And on Give to Lincoln Day, your gift goes even further. I'm Jim Blue, president of the Cedars organization, and I'm asking you to go to givetolincoln.com to make your gift to Cedars and support Lincoln's kids today.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
Allo is here to give you the FYI. Are your shows buffering? We know why. Are your games lagging? Don't deny. Your work calls dropping? Here's the FYI. Your old school internet company can't keep up. They give it a try. Their network isn't enough. Don't get trapped in their gimmicks and lies. It's time to fiber your internet with Allo. Honest, local, and hassle-free is what we stand by. Experience Allo Internet. Visit allofiber.com/FYI.
It's May, and that means the school year is almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride. Summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back. For sure. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Ready to upgrade your combine with new technology to make your harvest more efficient, meaning more money in your pocket? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine for harvest. Plus, when you purchase a pre-owned combine from Landmark, you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network, along with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running, reducing downtime. View inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln by offering a number of services. From group homes for special needs adults to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the intellectual and developmental disability services your loved one needs to live a fulfilling life. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a more rewarding career, learn more about available positions. Learn more about services for your loved ones or employment today at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC has great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 531-207-9329.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers and maybe a few thunderstorms later today, too, with a high of around 81. Tonight, we'll see another chance of showers and storms with a low of around 60. And tomorrow we'll see a continued chance of showers and storms. See an afternoon high tomorrow of around 80. Meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 Ticket and ticketfm.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Yes, it is. Welcome to it. I'm Austin Norman. Most importantly, he's Eric Strickland. Glad you're with us here today. With you for the next 2 hours here from 2 to 4 Central Time, as we are every weekday right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Not just on your radio, though. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter have streams for you. And we also have a free app. That's right, a free app. Download. You can get podcasts, everything 93.7 The Ticket on that app. Again, just search 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. Get that downloaded and make sure you don't miss anything. Stricky, how you doing today, my man?
Rain turns my day into a blah, blah, blah.
Rain, go away.
But
that's
we're here
what all
on
your
the
haters
block,
say.
and I'm in here with my guy, Austin Orman, and I'm excited about it. So the rain can hold off. I don't mind about it right now. I don't see it. When you're back here in the back part of the studio, I just saw it was on the way. And I'm one of those guys that I think rain is beautiful. I think because it, just kind of, wipes off,
cleansing.
Yeah, it's a cleansing type of feeling. It's nothing better to sleep than when it's storming and raining to me. And but when the sun's not shining for me, like I was shining bright yesterday with that bright shirt I had on, I really feel enthusiastic. I feel good. I feel, exuberant about life. And I said this before, Austin, man, I really do feel bad for people in places like Seattle and Portland, where it literally rains and it's misty and it's dreary and it's the majority of the days is like that, right? And I learned a new lesson just about the area that I didn't really know about until I would say within the last 10 years. They don't have air conditioning in Seattle. Like majority of houses, it's like they don't need them because it doesn't get crazy hot, and the weather's kind of always moderate to cool.
Yeah.
So some people don't have Havoc and the internal air conditioning system. They just open windows, throw fans.
I would not have guessed that. It makes sense when you talk about it like that. But I had family that lived in Seattle for 20 years, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I didn't realize that too until I was at my brother-in-law's house, and I'm like, it's kind of hot outside, bro. How come it's hot in here? Are you gonna turn the air on? He's like, we don't have air conditioning. I was like, I what?
Did the hotels you stayed at in Seattle and Portland have AC?
Yeah, they do. They do. But I was quite surprised when we had fans blowing, and I was reminded as a kid living in Alabama, you can't do this these days, just because I think we've lost a lot of moral codes in life that we didn't have back then. I remember we used to never lock our doors.
Really?
Yeah, never. I remember, Austin, when the community literally was a community. They really looked out after each other. You know what I'm saying? I remember as kids, like just go now and really, for the most part, not in a microcosm, but in a macro sense of thinking, go into neighborhoods now and you just don't see kids playing the same way. I understand it because the moral codes have shifted. People now are kidnapping kids in broad daylight, and you got all these different things. So you kind of want to keep your eyes on them. Whereas in my day, it was go outside. We were so creative, Austin. We were finding ways to create games and systems. It was rock throwing. We used to go and walk in paths and go down the creeks, and we would play baseball in the circle. So like we had these circles, and so we created like these little mini stadiums in our imagination, and we would play with tennis balls. And this is what made us good. Like people are like, Strick, you didn't play baseball, but how did you get? We would hit a tennis ball with a little skinny stick, and we would play fast pitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just thinking about just times and reflecting and things of those times, man. And you just don't see it. Like you send kids out today, Austin, and they'll stand around and they won't know what to do. They'll be on their phones creating TikToks. That's the age of the day.
Unfortunately, they're good at it, but
unfortunate. But
so you're definitely onto something there, because even in my neighborhood, a lot of little kids hardly see them out and about without parent supervision.
Yeah.
And we live in a nice, quiet little neighborhood, and that's fine. And I love it, and it's great. How much of that too, though, Strick, is kids are getting put into organized activities so much earlier? Like youth sports are starting, at age 5 and 6 when you're out there, and you're in one every season, right? You're not just playing, t-ball once a week in the summer. It's, you're starting to actually pitch to kids. You have coach pitch. You're playing multiple times a week, or in the winter, you're not playing out in the snow. You're in a basketball league. Yeah. Again, that's good stuff. But how much, I wonder, of that has organized sports replaced that free flowing creativity where you learn other skills?
I think that's a great point. I would say as kids, we just got out there, went to the elementary school and just played soccer. Whereas you're probably right. Now they just kind of get them together 3, 4 years old, 5 years old, and they let them run around and kick balls, and they do those things now. So you're probably that could be a big switch to it. I would say in off season, some things that I'm seeing now is like kids are being trained at a younger age, more skill type of stuff with like going into batting cages. Like we used to just go to a batting cage where you put a little coin thing in, you take your bat, and these little, the machine would just spit balls, and you would, swing and do that. But now, like, there are kids that are going to get trained, like, by specialty baseball guys on hitting technique and, just different things like that. So, yeah, man, it's beautiful. I think it's quite dope to watch the changes. But my issue is it effective? My also issue that I want to spit back to you is, are we burning kids out? You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll take a caller. But I want to just make this last point, and then you can speak, and then we can take the caller. We'll take you in a second. Hold on there, caller, for a second. But lastly, are we pushing kids too hard? Because we've lost an element of just allowing kids to grow into or develop into and acquire a love, where I think parents at some point begin to push, and then kids at some point give push back because really they are maybe artistic, or maybe they're musical, and they're being pushed into sports, and something's being eliminated from that part of it.
Right. I mean, I remember my first memories of playing sports were, playing catch in the backyard with my dad.
Yeah.
Shooting hoops with my brothers out across the street. And growing up with neighbors, and maybe not the first house we lived in, but when we moved, we would, play with the older kids on the block. It was just fun to be included there. And you definitely need to have the organization aspect of it to teach kids, the teamwork and to get a system in place. But I think you're right, Strick, in that a lot of cases, it's become about the parents. I want my kid to do this. I see all the money, excuse me, in athletics. So if I can get my kid started earlier, make him or her that especially good, that could be good for us in the long run, instead of it being about the kid in growth and development.
And organic.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's, bad or wrong to get kids into these sports.
Yeah.
I just think it's different, and I think we as a society are still adapting to that different. You know, you need to have that creative, open, flowing part of your brain established with growth too. That's why that, you know, organic, just outside playtime where you can be creative is so good. It's also good to learn structure, to learn teammates, to learn systems, but we're just creating different types of people with different mindsets. There's got to be a balance, doesn't there? You can't just do one or the other.
Yeah.
Let's go to the phones. We have Matthew in Hickman on the line. Matthew, what's on your mind today, man?
Hey, fellas! First of all, I appreciate everything you guys do for the community, man. BJ, you guys are all awesome here. I've coached this same group of kids since they were 7 and 8, and I coached the Lincoln Sox. They're now 12 and 13 years old, and I think a lot of what you guys are discussing here goes to the coaching style, right? So, me personally, I know I'm different than a lot of different coaches, but I have myself and then another non-dad coach, and then I have 2 dad coaches on the team, right? So we get to see both sides of it. How does this look like from a coaching side? How does this look like from the parent side? And then going back to instilling the love, that's done at such an early age. And we have to remember these kids. The one thing that bothers me the most is when we hear the adults in the room, and not that you guys ever would. I think you guys talk about the youth with respect in class, but when they're just 10 or they're just 11. No. These are the future leaders of our community. These are the people that are going to be taking care of us when we're old and we can't do so. So when that time comes, I don't want to hear anybody talk about, this year or this generation, this generation, that, unless they've done something to help mold these young athletes and they become better students, better friends, better sons, and then the athletes will come, right? If we can instill showing up on time, being early, yes, sir, no, ma'am, tucking your jersey, running to your position, the rest of the stuff will come. And then going back to the burning them out, create a fun atmosphere to where you're learning and still getting better, but having fun doing so. Then they want to be there. It's not up to mom and dad.
Yeah.
I love you guys, man. I'll shut up and listen. Appreciate you.
Great stuff.
Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate the call.
Great stuff.
To his point, Strick, I'm going to lead you into this one. There are a lot of guys like me out there who played in high school, who enjoyed it, but they didn't make it that far. There's so few of you that played as a kid, that played in high school, that played in college, that did it for a job for darn near a decade. You're lucky. You're blessed to be where you are with gifts that the rest of us don't have. And I think parents want to see you and their kid all the time, when more often than not, they're me. We can enjoy it, but we're not going to reach those heights. So it's more important for those of us to develop other skills. Now, I'm lucky because you developed all the skills. I'm not saying you're just an athlete. Please don't take it that way.
No.
You developed as a person. Clearly, I see that every day. But you were also, blessed with physical gifts that not everyone has. The love for the grind that not everyone has. And I hope as parents and coaches, if we see a kid lose that, we either A, try what we can to help them rediscover it, or B, listen to what they're telling us when they say, "No, it's just time for me to find something else."
Well said. Very, very, very good point. I will also just add on to that is we've gotten, and this goes outside of sports. This also goes outside of sports. When I look around, because I've had the privilege of also teaching. I actually have a license. Like if I wanted to teach, I could, right?
You do every day on the show.
So I've done, I've done quite a bit, and I actually did it, and I wanted to understand, and I went into the special education forum. I wanted to understand a little bit more about these kids, and where they are, and how can we help them to really become better, right? I found that the system's broken, Austin, and some may agree and some may not. I think we have done a disservice, and when you listen to Matthew speak, I think he's talking a little bit more beyond just the coaches. It goes into how effective are we in our kids' educational life. We've basically, in a lot of ways, have just turned the kids over. The school system, have become the parents in a lot of instances, right? And sometimes the coaches become that. And it's been sad to watch because I remember the discipline. This is really why I didn't keep teaching, because I got to a point with the disrespect. The way that some of these, as you got older, like if I would have stayed in it, it would have been at the middle school level where you still can capture them a little bit. But when you get to the high school level, there were times when I did sub, and I'm not gonna lie to you. We keeps it trill right here on the block. There were times where you talking to the wrong one like that, dog. What? Watch how you're talking to me, young man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a dad that was a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, and there was moments when I halfway bucked up on Pops, and Pops was 6'1", 220 and rocked.
Oh yeah.
And I had to pause a minute and say, wait, you're getting kind of outside yourself. And one time he tested me, Austin. He said, oh, so you ready to test your manhood? And I said, if you ever watched Friday, the movie Friday, and there was a moment on Friday where Debo, Tiny Lister, RIP to Tiny Lister, Debo basically said, oh, you want some of this too, old man? And great comedian, I can't remember his name right now, but he lifted up his hand to the sky and he said, no. That's what Stricky did when it was I shut my mouth up and went right on in that room. But that's what kind of gave me pause, because I would much rather not go to jail for having to knock one of them out,
Mr. Garvey style.
You know what I'm saying? Than to just say, you know what, I'm sorry. I pause. This also happened to me coaching too. It was a couple times. It's just I'm built different, and so I think it goes both ways. I think the parents also want to be engaging in the whole process, not just the sports process, but also the educational process. Because my dad set me down, Austin. He said this, and I'm done. He said, how many athletes, son, do you think make it to the next level? Well, Dad, I saw it in my dreams. I'm going to the NBA. I'm in NFL, one of them. I don't know, but I know I'm going. I was a mediocre student at that time. And he says, what if you break an ankle? What if you lose a knee? What if something happens to you? What if you get in a car wreck? What are you going to do then? That hit so home to me that from that moment on, outside of the fight, the one fight that I told you I had, where I got kicked out and we lost by 1 point in the state tournament to Lincoln East, that situation right there turned my whole mindset, and I became an AB student, honor roll student, academic all Big 8. I learned just from that short conversation, because of the engagement my father had in my life as a young man, cared about all facets, to the point where he even would take it away from me if I didn't operate with excellence in school. And that hurt me more than anything any kid, any person, any teacher, or anybody could have ever done to me, was my father taking those things away from me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dads, we appreciate you. Moms, we appreciate you. Love your family. They love you. They're looking out for you. I hate to have to stick a pin in this conversation. That was great stuff. But speaking of family, Splash Brothers, Steph and Clay.
Yeah. Who's
responsible for him? Strick, you sent something about that my way late last week. We're going to finally get a chance to dive into it here next. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Warriors, Lakers. Is this the end for the Splash Brothers? Plenty more in the Western Conference semis coming up next.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
Breathe easier inside your home with Bryant. Eliminate allergens and odors and control humidity too. For a breath of fresh air, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's May, and that means the school year is almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride. Summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we offer CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Allo is here to give you the FYI. Are your shows buffering? We know why. Are your games lagging? Don't deny. Your work calls dropping? Here's the FYI. Your old school internet company can't keep up. They give it a try. Their network isn't enough. Don't get trapped in their gimmicks and lies. It's time to fiber your internet with Allo. Honest, local, and hassle-free is what we stand by. Experience Allo Internet. Visit allofiber.com/FYI.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln by offering a number of services. From group homes for special needs adults to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the intellectual and developmental disability services your loved one needs to live a fulfilling life. They're also hiring if you're looking for a more rewarding career or about available positions. Learn more about services for your loved ones or employment today at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Ready to upgrade your combine with new technology to make your harvest more efficient, meaning more money in your pocket? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine for harvest. Plus, when you purchase a pre-owned combine from Landmark, you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network, along with mobile techs and parts drop points to keep you up and running, reducing downtime. View inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC has great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 531-207-9329.
Motor Food is Lincoln's hardest rocking food truck and cafe. Motor Food creates old school comfort food with a 21st century twist and lots of rock and roll attitude. Try the barbecue pulled pork mac and cheese, the grilled chicken Firebird sandwich, a 100% all beef split grilled hot dog, and any version of their funky fries. Stop by the cafe just behind Outback Steakhouse on 48th Street or catch the food truck out and about all spring and summer. Check out their menu, order carry out, or schedule catering at motorfoodtruck.com.
NASCAR is known for fast cars, roaring action, and big bucks. The Nebraska Lottery's NASCAR Powerball Playoff promotion features all three, especially the bucks. Until May 30th, buy a Powerball ticket with Power Play or Double Play, enter the voucher number, and you could be one of 15 winners of $1,000 and the chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship Weekend. Enter today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Mother's Day is on Sunday, May 14th. Do you know what you're getting your mom this year? Stop procrastinating and get her the one thing that she wants, a massage. The Body Shop in Lincoln offers all sorts of massages. All you have to do to win this Mother's Day is get mom a gift card from the Body Shop. Swedish massage, deep tissue massage, hand and foot massage, and so much more. Gift cards can only be bought online at thebodyshoplincoln.com. The Body Shop, located at 48th and A. You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
It is time for the shootout. So don't call now. That's next segment. Wrong open ended up in the log. Oversight on my part. Apologies. Shootout is still coming up in about 15 minutes or so. We're going to talk NBA here first, and we even got a special guest to do it. Rock, welcome in, my man.
Thank you, sir.
How you
Pleasure to be
doing?
here. Doing great.
Glad to hear it.
Those that don't know Rock is a phenomenal player, athlete, and has a son that happens to be one of the next up for the University of Nebraska here, and that is Ramel Lloyd Jr.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Thank you, Strick.
So we were about to jump into this conversation, and you being a Mecca guy, you know, from up that way. We're glad to have you here in Lincoln. We know that you came down to be close and to be of support with Ramel and his transition and stepping into this new the newness of him coming into himself as a young man, as a player, to just kind of help him in that whole process. But he is a man now. Let's not get it twisted. But there's nothing like having a father's support at your side as you're stepping into the voids. But we're about to get into this conversation, man, and the conversation is this: the Splash Brothers have been labeled debatable as one of the best duos potentially in the guard position of all time. You know, it's been said, it's been speculated, some don't believe it, but championships and the time and the tenure that they've spent together has been the case. But here's the debate. It's not even about the Splash Brothers' success. We want to debate, how were they made? How were they created? Because I personally believe that Mark Jackson doesn't get as much credit for the Splash Brothers' success. And I've got some things behind it and some things that were said, but I really, you being from the Mecca, you being from up that way, knowing Mark Jackson not only as a player but also as a as a coach, how do you view it? And do you think he's kind of not getting the due success that he deserves for what he helped create up there?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, Mark Jackson obviously is a legend, not only to New York City players and people, to everyone. I mean, he's changed the game with his back to the basket, posting up. He's up there with assists. He's a winner. From what I know about him, he's a great man. And of course, the coaches have a lot to do with the development of players' confidence and allowing them to be who they are. I'm a player, and of course, Strick was a great player himself. At the end of the day, the players are doing their work and they're preparing and they have the talent and so on and so forth. But that talent must be guided and it must be allowed to flourish. And, Mark Jackson being a former great player, I think he understood that, had a young Steph Curry and Thompson, and he was able to help mold them into who they are today.
When it comes down to, I don't want to set it up as Mark Jackson versus Steve Kerr, because I think they're on, good enough terms, and Mark Jackson knows the business. He's been in it long enough. I think Mark Jackson gets the credit for giving those guys a chance. A lot of coaches would have written Steph off with his ankle injuries, would have pigeonholed Clay into just the one-trick pony, not giving him room to grow. So I think Mark Jackson gets the credit for giving them a chance and proving there's something there. But I think Steve Kerr really unlocked them with his system. Maybe Mark Jackson would have if given more time with them, but we'll never know, for better or worse.
One of the good things, Rock, is that, it's been acknowledged, and that's the beauty. And I actually think this is one of the better things about Golden State, not just as a team, but as an organization. One, you can see what they did in the way that they handled the Wiggins situation, who was dealing just kind of with some mental blocks, some mental issues, just needed some time. And the organization stood behind him, allowed him to be able to have that. And so you can see that it's not just solely based on as some organizations, is as quickly as they can get you back on the court, they're on the will to do that. And, you know, that's another discussion. But I love the fact that Bob Myers acknowledged that former head coach Mark Jackson was one that kind of helped set the groundwork. He was the one that kind of spurned things to begin moving. Because actually, this whole thing could be different right now. Absolutely. Because we talked about the injuries, as you alluded to, Austin. The injuries had begun. We're talking about 2013 right now. There's been discussion with regards to Andrew Bogut. And there was a tremendous player that can give you that work that was there, and he was working out by the name of Monte Ellis. Absolutely. And the words behind the scene is that it could have been you're used to this 3-card Monty going on, where they kind of had the Bucks kind of had Steph Curry in their eyesights as a want. The 3-card Monty's thrown out that, he's injury proof. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with his body, doctors. And then Mark Jackson says, nah, I'm going to give him the keys to this castle. Absolutely. I'm going to give him the keys to this car. We let young fella ride, but we're going to let him sit. We're going to let him heal, fully heal, and then we're going to turn it over. So we're going to push Monte Ellis, which was probably the best decision that they ever made in making that decision happen. That started the dynasty.
Absolutely.
In essence. So anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, just going back to the point of Steve Kerr versus Mark Jackson, even though it's not a competition, but you got to understand Mark Jackson had them at a young age as far as developing their skills, obviously, and more importantly, their confidence and the leeway to play basketball. So they might not ever been who they are today to even get to Steve Kerr if it wasn't for that foundation that Mark Jackson has set, allowing them to grow in a proper manner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Love it. If you want to get into the debate, Honda Lincoln Hotline is open at 402-464-5685. What's your thoughts on it with regards to this? Me personally, I think it's a combination. I think it's like running a relay race. Organizations, I think, are built by way of the relay race. I think they're also destroyed by the dropping of the baton. You know, you got great time, and someone drops the baton. As long as you got a clean baton, it's okay for them. And I love that about him. I always thought Mark Jackson was a tremendous coach. I thought he would have got another shot. But I'm going to be real with you. If I'm Mark Jackson and I'm looking at the landscape of coaching, and I want your thoughts on this, because you gotta look at Budenholzer's situation. You've got to look at other coaches down the road or in the past that have taken the brunt of really what wasn't them. Bad play from the. I mean, you can only lay the foundation, as we talked about, on getting a team prepared and saying, hey, here it is. You know, if I'm in Vegas at the crap table, I can't be mad at the guy who has a stick and he's pulling my role. It was my role that rolled it out there. Everything else was laid out and prepared. I need to go get them chips. But if I roll crap, I crap out. That ain't got always to do with me. It sometimes has something to do with the people that's a part of the whole table.
Look at like Dwayne Casey, fired from Toronto.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Even in the NFL, like David Coley.
Yeah.
What did he do? He wasn't set up for success, and they let him go anyways, make him the fall guy.
Yeah.
That's not right. You have to understand it's part of the business, right or wrong. That's how things have always been. That's how they will always be done. But to me, the bigger issue facing the Warriors is Jordan Poole. They made the decision to get rid of Monte Ellis, which ends up being a fantastic decision. Is giving Jordan Poole $32 million a year going to be what ends that dynasty?
Rock. I don't even know if I want to touch that question. I think we can go back a little bit to the incident between Draymond and Jordan Poole, and I don't think the team has been the same since. From the outside looking in, they managed to kind of continue to play and do what they need to do. But I think a wound like that lasts for a little longer than most would think.
Yeah. I look at it from a standpoint of it's. There was a movie I watched, and he said, "Your boy Terrence Howard." He said, "It's hard out here for a pimp." You know, it's really hard out here. Like, I'm looking at that whole situation, and I understand why. Draymond had to check his chin. I really do. I mean, I because when you come in there prima donna style, what has been lost is what we used to have back in our day, Rock, was there was hierarchy.
Absolutely.
Now some of these young players come in with so much not any respect and like there was times where if you was just a marginal player and you stepped in the locker room and Magic Johnson then was in there and you in there acting a fool, Magic them's like, yo, you got to get him up out of here, like ASAP.
Yeah, up out of here.
You know, he got to go tonight.
That was
and you had your pink slip.
That was all pre internet and pre social media. The difference is that you were able to solve those problems within your locker room, within your teammates, and the whole world didn't know about it. So the whole world knowing and seeing what happened changes the whole deal now, right?
Yeah.
So you don't get to handle these things eternally. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has a camp. The whole social media deal with instant success and highlight videos and things of that nature has an effect on how young athletes are being raised and what their mentality is as far as you're talking about hierarchy and respect and things of those nature. Because you don't even have to be successful anymore. You just got to have a 2-3 minute highlight half the time, and you're getting all the praise in the world from not even really doing it.
Rock, what helped me in this whole thing, and I'm reminded of it. When I came into the league, it didn't matter how cold it was, how hot it was. We had to put them bags on the bus. We had to wait until all the bags was put. Me and Samaki Walker standing outside, cold as a mother. Woo! And that was part of our initiation as to being a part of this team. I wore 21. I'm a rookie, free agent rookie. George McLeod had 21. There's no way I'm coming in and getting that number. 20's it, baby. That's the next one that's open. And these days, these young bucks, like just think about it. LaMelo Ball. If somebody had number 1 and they was a super vet, guess what the organization would have done to appease, coddle? It's okay, LaMelo. We got you. You know what I'm saying? No, bruh. You want this? Touch my pocketbook. You know what I mean? That's if I wanted the number, let me hold something. Your pockets is fat. Let me get 20. 20 racks. I mean, that's really how the stuff used to go down. It has changed, man. The generations, the things it makes it hard for me. It's just that part of it is there's no hierarchy. There's no levels of walking up and stepping up to respect. And this is even the more why I appreciate you and I appreciate what your son are doing, because so many of them now, you still got to watch. You still got to be about good fit. There's things that still got to be assessed, but so many kids would have been so quick in the transfer portal if they had to redshirt. But there's discussions, there's things that you had to sit down, assess, have conversations about. But it's teaching your son more things than what we're seeing in these generations of kids these days. Tell us about that as a father.
Well, to touch on that a little bit, the value of these kids are so extremely high because marketing is free now with social media, and kids are built up to be their superstar to before they even do anything. So at the end of the day, it all boils down to money always, right? When you're talking about pros, you're talking about the LaMelo situation. LaMelo his value is just too high for business wise for them to treat him any other way. It just boils down to being that simple. And in terms of our situation, I think you always have to reevaluate situations. You always have to figure out as a team and as a family how we move is to figure out what's best for the long term. right? Not
Yeah,
always
you can't always look at
not always what's going on right now.
Yeah.
You know, and we wanted to make the best decision for his personal development as a player and a young man.
Yeah.
So we made that choice. There's a lot of variables, obviously, that go into why we made that choice, and we'll hold that for another day.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing in sports and basketball and life is that everybody has a time. You're running your own race. You know, his race is not against his teammates' race or whoever else he played with or whoever we played with. Your race is against yourself. You're competing against the track.
Well said.
You know, so you got to keep that in mind when you're trying to develop your kids or yourself or, you know, whatever the case may be. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're running our own race.
There he is, Ramel Lloyd Sr. You got anything else?
Say, what's next for Ramel this summer? What's on the to-do list for next fall?
Well,
we're excited.
Put a big smile on my face. Ramel is working extremely hard. He's actually shut down like a lot of his social medias and a lot of extra activities that, you know, young men normally would be doing. He's focusing. He's locked into giving people a pleasant surprise
and being great. And we look forward to that and his greatness, his you know, goals to be great, also affecting of course, what the bottom line is, and that's winning. That's right. That's we'll tap it in there, but I will just you know, just kind of put the cherry on the top of that cupcake. And I will say this. We were blessed beyond measure of not having social media, because truly I can say that I was able to focus within mob mentality. And whatever the B is to you, I was able to put money, motivation over everything else that the B was going to be. And that's where the focus continued, and that's where it stayed. And as you have said, he's kind of eliminated a lot of those extra things and totally focused on the task at hand. And I think that's beautiful, my friend. And
thank you.
Continue success for both you and Ramel Lloyd Jr. As a Nebraska Husker. And there, you know, again, there would be reassessments and reevaluations, and that continually has to be a part of the makeup of life. Absolutely. You know, from one year to the next, from one quarter in business to the next quarter, it's always constant reevaluation. So thank you again. Sutter Heyman text line is always open, 402-464-5685. I think I got ahead of myself. Coming right back. Do we have anything? What we got going? There's a shootout with Streaky. Come on back. We'll be right here at 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. You were on the block.
NASCAR is known for fast cars, roaring action, and bigs. The Nebraska Lottery's NASCAR Powerball Playoff promotion features all three, especially the Bucks. Until May 30th, buy a Powerball ticket with Power Play or Double Play, enter the voucher number, and you could be one of 15 winners of $1,000 and the chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship Weekend. Enter today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
This is Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska and in the NFL, I wore protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but everyone in our community by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Update your protection with the bivalent COVID vaccine while it's still free. Find out more at healthylincoln.org. That's healthylincoln.org.
Some kids worry about making the sports team. Others worry about where they'll sleep tonight. In Lincoln, 300 kids are in need of a safe and loving home. Cedars is here for them, but we do need your help. A gift to Cedars makes an immediate impact on Lincoln's kids. And on Give to Lincoln Day, your gift goes even further. I'm Jim Blue, president of the Cedars organization, and I'm asking you to go to GiveLincoln.com to make your gift to Cedars and support Lincoln's kids today.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627. Mother's Day is on Sunday, May 14th. Do you know what you're getting your mom this year? Stop procrastinating and get her the one thing that she wants. A massage. The Body Shop in Lincoln offers all sorts of massages. All you have to do to win this Mother's Day is get mom a gift card from The Body Shop. Swedish massage, deep tissue massage, hand and foot massage, and so much more. Gift cards can only be bought online at thebodyshoplincoln.com. The Body Shop, located at 48th and A.
Dive into good times and great savings when you take advantage of the above-ground swimming pool sale happening now at Bonsall Pool & Spa. All in-stock swimming pools are 50% off through the end of May while supplies last. You don't want to miss out on this hot deal. Visit our showroom at 33rd and Pioneers today. Learn more about the promotion at bonsallpool.com. Bonsall Pool & Spa, every day made better.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers and maybe a few thunderstorms later today, too, with a high of around 81. Tonight, we'll see another chance of showers and storms with a low of around 60. And tomorrow, we'll see a continued chance of showers and storms. We'll see an afternoon high tomorrow of around 80. Meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC has great attention to detail. They stick deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 531-207-9329.
This Mother's Day, prepare an incredible meal for her without all the dishes with the Venue Mother's Day to-go meals. Prepared fresh in-house by our chefs, these meals are ready to heat and eat with packages for 2 to 4 people or 6 to 8. And your choice of juicy beef tenderloin, herb roasted chicken, pork tenderloin, or our famous 6-pepper crusted prime rib. All meal packages come with sides, and we have many add-ons available to complete your feast. Order today at venuedelivered.com/Mother's Day. That's venuedelivered.com/Mother's Day.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
The Ticket Water Cooler.
The Chris Kleiman contract, obviously Luke Fickell signed at Wisconsin for cheaper. And I will say this, I think Nebraska overpaid in the open market for Matt Rule. I will also say this, I don't care anymore. If you're Trev Alberts, just get the guy you believe in. If it costs you a few more million a year and it's not really going to do anything to your donors or hurt any support, then
You're already pretty much burning money when you fire a coach and still have to pay them despite them not coaching. So what's throwing a couple more bags of cash on
Nebraska
the
got me with that Scott Frost move. Oh, don't worry about it. The money's there.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Yeah, time for Strick to play the game. No more of this passing the game off, at least not today. I'm not going to let you do it, Strick. I'm not letting you load manage. You're not Kawhi Leonard. You're Eric Strickland. You
I'm John Stockton.
You're trying to be.
I drops dimes. I was trying to feed Karl Malone, and you got in the way, of my assist. And I don't like it. I'm not happy.
I was
Okay.
going to say, if you're John Stockton, who does that make me, except that John Stockton is also the NBA career leader in steals?
You're Greg Ostertag and got in the way when you should have moved out of the way. You were just lumbering, do.
That's all I am. That's all I am, a space eater. I just take up space here. Is that my role?
And fumbleruski. Your hands is just
Okay.
not on point.
All right. Well, now I'm rooting for the contested, but no, I'm just kidding. This is a fair game. We're
Let's
not
get
going to
it.
rig it.
No.
We go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Elion, you on the text or on the Honda of Lincoln hotline with us?
Hello, and I just got one thing to say. I just played with Strick's character on 2K. Man, he is terrible, man. He's
I
terrible.
told you. What did I tell you when he came on? I know
I
that
was
name.
warned.
I knew. I said he's coming on
Terrible.
talking trash. So this is gonna be fun.
This ain't 2K. This is real life. This is Shootout with Strick. It means more. Elion, hold on the line for me. We'll get to your round in just a second. Stricky, you ready?
I love this guy. I've got to beat him today. Let's go.
All right, your round begins in 3, 2, and 1. He has the most career wins as an MLB manager. Connie Mack or Tony La Russa?
Mac.
Yep. He has the most playoff wins as an NFL head coach. Tom Landry or Bill Belichick?
Belichick.
Yep. He has the most career wins as a Premier League manager. Alex Ferguson or Pep Guardiola?
Pep.
It's Ferguson, and he was the head coach of the 1992 USA Olympics men's basketball team, a.k.a. the Dream Team.
Popovich.
A good guess.
Dang it.
But it was Chuck Daly.
Dang it.
Chuck Daly, the head coach of the Dream Team.
Dang it.
All right, Elian, you need 2 to tie. You need 3 to win. Are you ready for your round?
Absolutely.
All right, starts here in 3, 2, and 1. He has the most playoff wins as an MLB manager. Joe Torre or Whitey Herzog?
Joe Torre.
He has the most career wins as an NFL head coach. George Halas or Don Shula?
Duplip.
Yep, he has the most career wins as an NHL head coach. Joe Quenneville or Scotty Bowman?
Bellman.
Yep, and he was the head coach of the 2020 USA Olympic men's basketball team.
Okay.
It was not Coach K. Coach K retired. It was Greg Popovich.
You gave
He's the
this
most
guy-
recent one.
You gave him all those, bro.
Boom shakalaka.
You gave him all those, bro. Those were easy questions. I knew all of them.
Give me a hell yeah.
You see, I knew you was against me today.
I was not.
I
I
knew
gave
you
you a
was
soccer,
rooting
gave
against
him a
me today.
hockey. I think that's pretty fair.
I knew it.
Elion, congrats on the win. Hold on the line.
Trash, Elion. You still trash.
Bro, take me one-on-one then. Take me one-on-one then. What's up one-on-one? I would drill you. You would not score a point.
No, that's not facts. Guaranteed.
That is facts.
Guaranteed.
I don't care. I'll take you prime.
Elion, congrats on the win.
You're
I'll let you
terrible.
and Strick set up that one-on-one at some point. You get the $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. We bring in Rico now for the
Owen.
tiebreaker question of the day.
0-2 on the week, 9-9 overall.
No, he's 0-1. Jake took that L yesterday. He claimed it.
0-2 on the week.
No.
No, Jake claimed it. See, I'm Team Strick on this one.
It's unbelievable that Rico would root against me.
It's your game. You tagged him in. That's still your in a tag team. You tag
Okay.
him in. They
I'll
get
take it.
pinned. You
I'll
still
take it.
lose.
I'll take it.
All right. I think Rico's guessing first.
Yes.
Okay. How many points per game did the Dream Team win its 8 Olympic Games by?
Oh. Wasn't particularly close.
Average?
Yes.
Yeah.
Average margin to victory.
It wasn't particularly close. I'm going to go with a smooth 23.
Higher.
Over, under, Strick? Over?
It's
Over.
definitely over.
Darn near double. 43.8 points per game
Mhm.
for the Dream Team.
Mhm.
Coached by?
Tuck Daly.
There you go. No retroactive point. But hey, you beat Rico.
Yeah.
That's
There
what
you go.
really matters,
9-2.
right?
No.
I am 9-2 versus Strick.
No, he's pencil whipping me. If you guys know what
What are you
pencil whipping
talking
means,
about?
that's like if you're playing cards or dominoes.
Do you
the
want to?
person
Hey.
that he's pencil whipping me.
All right.
Do you want to start over this week? So we'll go 1-1.
Yes.
Do you want to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. You two hash that out during break. We'll step aside. When we get back, I was in some trouble. The NCAA might have a new number one priority. Strick and I are going to touch on that. We'll also talk some Huskers and Big Ten with Steve Sipple at 3:30. That's hour 2 on the block coming your way next on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KTK FM Firth, 93 in the Ticket. This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In coaching news, Lincoln Northwest announced Farrell McKee as its new varsity boys basketball coach. Switching to baseball, districts is right around the corner starting Friday on May 5th. Lincoln East will be the only team to claim a #1 seed for Class A districts. They will take on the winner of Omaha North and Norfolk. Lincoln Southeast will play Omaha Westside in the A1 district. Lincoln Northwest will play Grand Island sitting in the A2 district. Lincoln North Star will face Omaha Northwest, and Lincoln Southwest faces Columbus in the A3 district. Lincoln Pius X plays Papillion La Vista in the A4, and Lincoln High plays Miller North in the A5 district. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and I'm protecting it now by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Get up to date while it's still free and stay protected. Learn more at healthylincoln.org.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. Nebco's beginnings in 1908. It's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rush into your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
From the first pitch of a late-night Little League game to the sweet taste of frozen treats, LES powers all of life's special moments for only $2.88 a day. Learn more at les.com/value.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and we are seeing a record sales month in April, and we're going to let it roll and crank up in the month of May. We have some big discounts and special interest rates going on this month on selected new in-stock Sierras and Silverados. Buy a new Silverado or Sierra, get $3,000 off or 1.9% interest. You heard right, $3,000 off or 1.9% interest. We have outstanding specials on all of our new and pre-owned GM certified units. So stop on in and see us or check us out online at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did. New discount must trade in and finance with the roof credit.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing. At 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today. Herrick Services takes this time to wish all the moms out there a happy Mother's Day. We hope that everyone is able to show how much they care for and respect the moms in their life for this weekend especially, but in everyday life too. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers and maybe a few thunderstorms later today, too, with a high of around 81. Tonight, we'll see another chance of showers and storms with a low of around 60. And tomorrow we'll see a continued chance of showers and storms. We'll see an afternoon high tomorrow of around 80. Meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and the Ticket FM.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three. And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome back to On the Block. It is the second hour here. 3 o'clock. We just had a great first half segment. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, go to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, or to 93.7 theticketfm.com. Go to actually theticketfm.com, and there you will be able to find all of the great content that you may have missed, whether it be early break or the captain or
the drive,
whatever,
or happy hour, but mostly On the Block.
Yeah, if you missed that early segment, definitely was good stuff from Romel Lloyd Sr., who happened to pop in and tap in with us on a good segment to discuss. The first segment I thought was just beautiful, just really just talking about life and just the changes and the shifts and things and how they've gone. Oh, that was a great segment. I mean, we'll probably get some of that clipped and put out on a little shorter basis. Definitely, I think that's worthy. But in this second hour, we're going to talk a little bit more about something interesting that just happened across the border. And I'm not talking about the Mexican border. I'm not talking about the Canadian border. I'm talking about the Missouri River. If you cross over the Missouri River here out of downtown, whether you're trying to go over to the casinos or you're trying to go over into Council Bluffs.
There's no other reason. Like
There's
why?
really
Why
no
Iowa?
reason outside of the casino at this point, but you cross over and you head into Iowa. There's some crazy, interesting, weird, but stuff that's been going on. And the reason I want to get into this discussion with you, Austin, and I want your take on it. And again, Sutter Heyman text line 402-464-5685 or Honda Lincoln hotline 402-464-5685, where we would love to hear from you as well. We talk a lot, and we've discussed before, the NCAA. And I've mentioned that the NCAA at some point has basically become a Chihuahua that looks like a Rottweiler. They're just a big dog with no bark, with no bite. They can't grab on. They can't do anything. And it seems that when they do tend to leech on or bite or get at the heels of something, it's always it's weird. It doesn't ever seem to be the big boys. It doesn't ever seem to be.
Funny how that happens, right?
It's kind of crazy, right? It doesn't ever seem to be the ones that's drawing in the Luciano, the Cashola. It don't seem to be them. It just seems to be some kind of small program, lower end program, baseball. It'll be a Virginia Tech or something, just something crazy, right? It's never the big boys. So I want to talk about this because it is interesting. And the reason I want to talk about it is because I think I've been wondering, how is it that the NCAA is going to be able to claim back its bite again? Because right now, the NIL situation and all the stuff that's going on with that, the tube, that toothpaste is gone. It's gone. That toothpaste is out. But which way could they do it? And I think this is potentially one of those areas in which they may be able to do it. And we're talking about Iowa and Iowa State its athletes are being investigated for potential gambling situations. So here's a brief out of ESPN. Here's a brief part of the article, and I want you to go ahead and start from there. The University of Iowa has announced on Monday that 26 athletes, count that, 26 athletes, not in football only, not in basketball, but across 5 sports: baseball, football, men's basketball, men's track and field, and wrestling. They do have a great wrestling program as well. One full-time employee of the athletic department has been suspended of wagering on sports in violation of NCAA rules. In addition, Iowa State has acknowledged that some 15 of its athletes across 3 sports, football, wrestling, and track and field, are also suspected of violating the rules. So when we talk about that, NCAA, I mean, is this one of the areas that this can happen? What's your thoughts on the fact that this is going on? And is it broader scope than what we're actually just seeing with it being only Iowa?
Let's answer that last question first. It has to be bigger. There's no way it's just Iowa, Iowa State, and Alabama baseball's head coach.
Right.
There's no way it's just those schools. I would all but guarantee this is happening at every Power 5 school across the country and the vast majority of Division I schools across the country. So it's happening other places. You know, just like everyone's saying, well, NIL or, you know, boosters paying athletes to come here doesn't happen here. It does. Just because you don't know about it, because it's on the down low, doesn't mean it's not happening. There's gambling going on at every school by student athletes across the country. I am very confident in saying that. Iowa, Iowa State, and Alabama are just the first examples that we're going to hear about, and I suspect we hear about more. I really do. Alabama's coach wasn't subtle about it, if you're reading it. Iowa and Iowa State still trying to figure out how exactly they got into it and what was going on, but they got caught. And not only, Strick, is it 26 current athletes and that one administrator, that same article says Iowa has received information about 111 individuals who have done this while at Iowa. Not just the 26 current ones, 111 total. So this isn't new, is what that tells you. In terms of the NCAA and its approach to it, Strick, I think you nailed it. This is a chance for the NCAA to flex a little bit, you know, to prove they can still, you know, bench press that bar for a lot of reps, to get that bite back, however you want to go about it.
Yeah.
Because here's what the NCAA can't do. Fix NIL in one offseason. They've had, what, a century of college athletics to get something in place. They didn't. They've had 3 years since NIL really came out in full force. Haven't done anything about it. The transfer portal they put back in place in 2018 hasn't been going well. You can't fix that in one offseason. There's going to be discussion and debate to come about that. Not to say there's not going to be, you know, discussion and debate about sports gambling, but this to me, Strick, is where the NCAA can put its foot down and say, no, none at all. Even if it smells fishy, that's a no from us, dog. Not going to be allowed. The current NCAA rule, Strick, pretty cut and dry. That's basically what it says right now. This is from an NCAA kind of release on wagering. It says the NCAA is committed to protecting student-athlete well-being and the integrity of competition. NCAA sports wagering rules do not allow student-athletes or athletics employees, number one, to bet on any sport sponsored by the NCAA at any level. So even if you're betting on the NFL, the NCAA sponsors football. You can't do that. You can't bet on NBA. Can't bet on MLB. Even though it's not college, you can't bet on that sport. And two, you can't share information with people for sports wagering purposes, which sounds like is going on at Alabama with what that was.
Yeah.
So to me, this is a very simple issue for the NCAA to say, no, any whiff of it, that's a no. We can't have that. There are plenty of questions about, you know, the quality of play in NCAA because these people aren't professionals. They're really good at what they do. They're student athletes putting their bodies on the line, but we get it. You know, college basketball isn't the NBA. College football isn't the NFL. We get it. So if your product isn't going to be quite that level, it maybe makes it a little easier to pass off some impropriety as, oh, they're just not that good. Oh, they just goofed up. But you don't want that. You want to get any stench of this at all out and away from student athletes. And this is where it's interesting to me, Strick.
Yeah.
Because there for a while, I was on the boat, even with, like, you know, Pete Rose and everything in Major League Baseball. Well, as long as he's betting on his team, it's probably fine. You know, who does it hurt? He's trying to make some extra money because he believes in his guys, believes in his team. I'm going to back off that stance a little bit. I think the simplest, easiest way to do it is if you're playing or if you're involved with a team or an institution, just don't do it. You're not allowed to. You made the choice to, you know, be the student athlete. You made the choice to go into, you know, athletics administration. Other people can do it, but you have to understand your position. And even if you're doing nothing wrong, how it could look fishy from the outside. So to me, the best stance for the NCAA is to keep that hardline stance of any impropriety, any whiff we get of you Gambling through a third party, through an app on your phone, anything like that, can't be done. You're done. You're gone.
Mm-hmm. If you had the opportunity, and this isn't nothing new. I happen to actually play with a gentleman. If you happen to check out the Netflix show that revisited the Stephen Headache Smith point shaving scandal at ASU, I think the name of that show was Hoop Schemes. And him and Isaac Ice Burton were a part of that whole thing. Ultimately, it ended up with Smith, one of the gentlemen that set this up, Silman and Gagliano, who all ended up going to prison. But how it all began was Smith wound up owing, and this is the part that you're talking about, and I think this is kind of how the rules came about, where it's just across the board. Because this is kind of how this ended up happening, where Stephen Smith ended up owing Benny Silman, who was a student and the on-campus bookie for at ASU, more than $10,000 in gambling debts. Who Stillman at the time was working for Gagliano, who was an entrepreneur. And they ended up fixing games against Oregon State. Smith didn't want the team to lose the game, and he told them, but he didn't have to, and then ASU could win, but more than that, by more than 6 points. So they started working it out based on the spreads, and they ended up starting to work out the fact that they could win, so he would play bad enough, but then good enough to just win the games. It ultimately ended up costing him his career long-term in the NBA, because he was a tremendous point guard. But this is kind of where it's all spurning from. It's just trying to eliminate this potentially across the board, because it's not necessarily the fact that you're betting on your games. It's the fact that you can end up with gambling debts that then can lead to pressure and individuals applying pressure to you. And then all of a sudden you kind of had to adhere to it, and you get caught up into it in some form or fashion. Quick question. As I look back at those UNLV teams of old, the Larry Johnsons, the Stacey Augmans, the Greg Anthony's, and just that whole state, Ackles, and just how dominant they were. Nothing's ever really fully came out. But is there some potential alleged speculation that there could have been something there in that? Because they were living large and in charge right there in Las Vegas, and lost a game or so that I bet a lot of paperwork was put out there. And
no, Duke was just better.
I know you were going to say that.
I got to here's the thing, Strick. To some degree, it's one of the worst kept secrets. I mean, you're in Las Vegas and you have people paying you to go to school there. Again, let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
They were given gifts. They were. We all see it. We know what was going on.
Yeah.
We don't have to hide it. We don't have to pretend about it. We know what was going on. So we can have this conversation. They were. Plain and simple, they were. To what degree? I don't know. It's impossible for me to believe that there was none of that going on.
Right.
So no, there hasn't ever been a big, expose or anything done really to, I think, even Tarkanian's legacy with all those teams there at UNLV. Like, everyone knows they were good. What are you going to do? Strip them of their titles and their wins? Everyone knows how good they were. There's a lot of really good basketball players who were getting paid for it, and to some degree, that's fine. How they were spending that money, what they were doing with it, that's a different debate. But even if we never get one of those, big 30 for 30s or exposés or anything, come on, it's a worst kept secret.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things that you just kind of want to throw out. It's sad. I feel bad. I mean, because here's the thing else I also want to throw out, what type of penalties are to be laid down. Is this one where the NCAA, as you just, spoke about, that they come down super harsh on the university, or do they come down super harsh on the athletes? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to go there with you too, because what the NCAA can't do is, go into student athletes' phones and see if they have an app. That's an invasion of privacy. That's not good.
Yeah.
I feel like suspension is probably the best route for it. If you're going to be doing this, giving information out, and not just suspension as in you can't play, but you're not allowed to have contact with the team, for a week, for the 3 days of game prep, the day before the game, the day after, something like that. For a first offense. For a second offense, maybe it's a week. Third offense, you're done. 3 strikes and you're out type of policy. That's just where my head goes first, would be the way to punish the student athletes. When it comes to Iowa, though, I mean, Iowa State to a lesser degree, Alabama baseball, I don't think their AD, had a lot to do with it. I think this was on the coach. I wonder if the numbers keep climbing for Iowa, if their AD gets in trouble, because I could see Strick. I don't know how the legal aspect of this would work, but to me, you'd be able to get slapped with the lack of institutional control.
Right. So does the FBI and all them, do they get involved? I don't know. Does this go to higher levels, or is it one of those things you just kind of try to contain within the NCAA?
The NCAA has tried the FBI route before. That's been a disaster. Strick, that has not gone well at all. Now, not that I trust the NCAA, but this shouldn't have to be FBI level. It shouldn't. The NCAA should say, did you do this? Did you not do this? If you did this, you're gone. If you did not do this, okay, you're fine, but steer clear and don't ever let yourself get that close to it happening again. Should be within the NCAA's scope of approval. The schools have to be responsible too, though, right? Maybe Gary Barta at Iowa had no idea this was going on. Maybe it's all a coincidence and he didn't ever hear about it, and it's not really, anything that ever crossed his desk. I can understand that. I can understand the plausible deniability and how he wouldn't, be covering it up if he didn't know what was going on. But at the same time, 111 student athletes, you don't catch a single whiff of it at any point. You don't think to, make sure you go over the rules. The NCAA says, none of this, guys. Make sure we're not doing this. Even if you just hear a rumor, it can be a boring seminar no one attends. But at least then you could say, I did my part. I tried to tell them, they did it anyways. But we haven't heard of anything like that from Iowa. Yeah. So even if this isn't on Gary Barta, it's happening under his watch.
So this is what I was going to throw out to you, because I remember in the NBA, the Players Association would send guys like Dirk Benefield and certain guys out, and they would go on a rotation, and they basically would go to every NBA team, and there would be some form of a meeting or a small symposium, as some form of that, where they would go over different things. They would talk about, women issues. They would talk about, problem gambling, and just different things that would be priorities that would try to keep us from falling victim to any certain schemes or problems or issues that could not only, hurt us as players, but also hurt the league or anything like that, right? Mm-hmm. So is this something that should be put into the hands of the universities individually, where they should get whatever the mandates are from the NCAA, or is this an NCAA thing and then they go on the circuit to make sure that I think it becomes real crazy for them to do it. It's got to probably be individually, they send it out and then they're required. And then if you don't adhere to it, then you're probably guilty of it.
There can be different levels, right? If it's 1 or 2 student athletes, that should be able to be handled by the university. Yeah. At that level, keep it there. If it's happening in multiple programs across a university, then the NCAA might have to step in and say, hey, Iowa, for example, what are you doing? That this many student athletes across this many programs are getting involved in this. What are you doing, or what are you not doing? Mm. So I think it can be both, can it?
Yeah, I think in some form or fashion it has to be both, where I just know individually, I don't think the NCAA has the bandwidth to be able to do it on a large scale when you're talking about 300 some Division I's, and then you're talking about Division I, Division 1A's, then down all the way down to Division III, because it goes all throughout the whole spectrum of their purview. So no, I don't think they could do it individually, but I think if these mandates are set out, they require them to go over a certain amount of hour or 2 or whatever of explanations of what these rules and requirements are that must be handled and dealt with. And here's the repercussions if you do not manage them. Yeah, I think that all has to be done. So yeah, just some crazy stuff though. I mean, it's, I think it is a good inroads for them to get back into place and into position. and hopefully be able to start reining in some of these issues that's going on out there in the NCAA span of sports.
Mm-hmm. And it shouldn't matter if on the individual level, if it's a 15th guy on the bench or the star player. You have to treat them all equally, regardless of the sport. Whether it's football, basketball, baseball, track field, wrestling, whatever it is, you got to treat all athletes the same. There can't be gray area involved there. Plain and simple. The consistency is going to be key. Couple things from the text line before we get to SIP. Augie, wise guy, I appreciate this. He says, maybe the Iowa players knew how bad their offense was, so they were betting the under every game. That goes to Brian Ferentz, too. Is Brian Ferentz point shaving with his offense?
Well, I have no answer for that, but that was a good one. That's pretty funny. That's very comedic.
And then anonymous texter says, the difference between point shaving and a basketball pool, how serious is it? Again, maybe there's a difference, but if there's money on the line and it can, call into question the competitive integrity of the sport, it doesn't matter what it is. If there's money on the line, like Rock was saying in that second segment of our first hour, it comes back to the bottom line. It comes back to those 5 letters, MONEY. If that's in question, yeah, you got to take it seriously. There shouldn't be a big difference.
And see, that's something just to kind of keep your eye on with, regarding collectives and regarding these other, pieces that are being put together to be able to put that in place. Does it get corrupted?
Right.
Like, what is the real meaning behind it? Is there some, a scheme is never really a scheme until they get you inside the system, right? Like, okay, yeah, everything on the surface is cool. We're getting you here, but just know that there's something on the bottom end of that we don't need from you, my guy. So that's how they work. They get you in the door. Malware don't work until you open the door, right? And then it starts getting to work inside your phone and your computer. So I don't know, man. It's some tricky land.
Tricky? No, not tricky.
Not tricky. But it's some funny areas, some gray. Let's just say some grays. It ain't all black and white. There's some different grays in there.
That there are. Good stuff. We'll keep that conversation going a little bit with Steve Sipple of Husker Online. Also, maybe talk some Big Ten headlines and Husker football as well. Hour two, segment 2 on the block comes your way next.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and I'm protecting it now by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Get up to date while it's still free and stay protected. Learn more at healthylincoln.org.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln by offering a number of services. From group homes for special needs adults to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the intellectual and developmental disability services your loved one needs to live a fulfilling life. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a more rewarding career, learn more about available positions. Learn more about services for your loved ones or employment today at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
From the first pitch of a late-night Little League game to the sweet taste of frozen treats, LES powers all of life's special moments for only $2.88 a day. Learn more at les.com/value.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish all the moms out there a happy Mother's Day. We hope that everyone is able to show how much they care for and respect the moms in their life for this weekend especially, but in everyday life too. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care. It's May, and that means the school year is almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride. Summer road trips are just around the corner.
Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism. Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
Keep summer green with Judson Bylene and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. On sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install 'em and forget 'em outfit, long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers and maybe a few thunderstorms later today, too, with a high of around 81. Tonight, we'll see another chance of showers and storms with a low of around 60. And tomorrow, we'll see a continued chance of showers and storms. See an afternoon high tomorrow of around 80. Meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. We're back here on the block, Austin and Strick, with you for the next half an hour or so. We're going to fill that time with someone who knows a lot. We appreciate his insight every week here with Husker Online, but of course, early break with Sip and Jake and Coach Bill Bush. Mr. Steve Sipple. Steve, how's it going today?
I'd say good. How are you guys doing?
We're good.
Good. Good to have you, Sip. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm glad to do it.
Let's start here, Steve. We spent our last segment talking about what's going on across the river, the border state of Iowa, both in Iowa City and in Ames, with the announcement of all these student athletes under investigation for gambling on sports. 26 Iowa athletes currently and an administrator, 15 at Iowa State. If you're the NCAA, does this become priority one for you over NIL, over transfer portal? Does taking care of this issue give you a chance to kind of get some of your bite back?
Oh, they might look at it that way. I don't know. I mean, I don't, Austin, I wouldn't look at it that way. I would be concerned about the credibility of collegiate athletics more than the reputation of my organization. I mean, there's a bigger problem, and I'd be very concerned. I mean, I'd be gravely concerned. This is about credibility. I mean, it's about credibility of collegiate athletics. It's about credibility of the sports you love to watch, and it's. I mean, I can't. I'd like to diminish it, but I'm not going to. And I don't think it should.
Is it as simple? Is it as easy as drawing a hard line? Absolutely none. Or is there more nuance that has to go into that conversation?
There's a lot of nuance. I mean, the nuances are almost unending, it seems. I can make things overly complicated with the best of them, but how do you how do you enforce it? I mean, you can just bet on your phone right now. Bet on anything you want. Now it can be tracked, but somebody's got to track it. And I don't know how many thousands of athletes are you talking about? And, and then there's the criminal element, Austin.
Mm-hmm.
It's illegal to gamble. You have to be 21 in Iowa. So there's a criminal part of this too. It's not just an NCAA violation. It's a criminal matter. I mean, I can't imagine what athletic directors all around the country are thinking today. And now, Austin, due respect, I'm not the guy that always goes to the NCAA and says they're the blame. They can only do so much. The institutions have to govern themselves to a large degree. The member institution. And I can't blame the NCAA for this. I'm not going to do that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to blame them if they can't enforce it. There's a societal part of this. We let it come to this. We did. And here we are. Now we throw up our hands and blame the NCAA. Come on. I mean, there's a lot of people in this world that were very comfortable with gambling and legalizing it. And now when there's fallout, we all look for people to blame when we should just point the finger at ourselves.
Plain and simple. And I'm with you. I don't think this and these institutions points back at the NCAA. I think these were, for the most part, individual decisions made by, the Alabama baseball head coach or the student athletes at Iowa State and at Iowa. But to your point about the institutions themselves needing to have a hand in it, I look at Gary Barta in Iowa, where, the 26 current student athletes, the one administrator, and up to 111 others, according to an ESPN report, that are being looked into with information regarding this. Maybe Gary Barta had absolutely no idea this was going on. I'm willing to believe that, given the benefit of the doubt. But at the same time, we haven't heard anything from him saying we put on, this seminar, which even if the student athletes go, they're on their phone, they're not paying attention. At least Gary Barta can say he did his part. He tried to help them, even if he didn't know what was going on. But even if it's not his fault, this happened under his watch.
True. And I think you're probably right, Austin. I got to think that the individual schools harp on it to the coaches and student athletes that these are the rules about gambling and that there's no gray area here. You just can't do it. I got to think that happened. Now, you're right. If it didn't happen, then that's on Gary Barta. I know it happens at Nebraska because Bill Bush talked about it this morning. And I've heard it before. They have seminars. They bring in law enforcement to talk about it. I think they've brought in problem gamblers to talk about it. They have seminars. They've had them in Nebraska. Eric could probably speak to that too. So I got to think that at Iowa, that those student athletes and coaches all knew that this was a no-no. You can't do it, and did it anyway, and probably just thought they wouldn't get away with it. But the thing we're not addressing is the most important element of all this is, now what happens if we find out that student athletes or coaches, like the Alabama coach, are gambling on their own sport or gambling on their own games? That's the, come on now. That's when you start worrying about popularity of sports a little bit. It's already taken hits with name, image, and likeness with a lot of people. A lot of people are turned off by it. Now, if there are continual stories about student athletes wagering on their own sports, that's, come on. What are we talking about at that point?
Seth, would you consider this to be a situation in which, we had discussed in times that you've been here on the block, would you consider this an opportunity for the NCAA to regain its power, its strength? Because you've got to assume that this isn't limited to just Iowa and Iowa State, right?
Right.
So is this a way for them to regain what they have lost and not being able to push the toothpaste back into the tube with this NIL situation of the Wild Wild West now?
Austin kind of alluded that earlier. Eric, I don't see it that way.
No.
Because I think, and the reason I don't see it that way is it seems a lot to ask for the NCAA to put this in the NCAA's hands and say, fix it, and this can enhance your reputation. It's a wieldy issue, as you'd understand, because of what I'm talking into right now, cell phone. I think it's too unwieldy for the NCAA to put it on just the NCAA. I think the institutions themselves have to be heavily involved. I mean, there could be, Eric, I mean, come on, the Iowa Gaming Commission's involved. I think that enforcement is going to be multi-pronged. It's not just an NCAA matter. The institutions have to take responsibility for this. This can't be a matter where we all sit back and say, hey, institutions can just let the NCAA handle it. No, they don't have that. They don't have the manpower. If it's as bad as we think, and I think we're all kind of on the same page here. This is Iowa, Iowa State, Alabama. Alabama fired a coach, okay? Fired a coach. Now this stuff has come out in Iowa. I think we all agree it's probably happening. Now, what are we going to hear going forward? I think we're all sort of, I think we're just kind of waiting for the inevitable at this point. And what is it going to look like? But I'm not going to do this thing where I just blame the NCAA for all our problems. I mean, I think it's too easy to do that.
As we look at this on a conference level, you have a new commissioner coming in Tony Petitti, and I think his background in baseball is fascinating because we know baseball's history with gambling, from the 1919 Black Sox to Pete Rose. Do you think we see anything come out of the league office about this sometime this summer before football season?
Yeah, to some degree, I think. I'm sure, Austin, they're assessing it right now. I wouldn't be surprised at all if there are some serious discussions going on today. It's complex. This is complex because it's so ingrained. Wouldn't you agree? You guys can, you don't have to agree with everything I say, but it's so ingrained in our society. The gambling,
more and more by the day.
Yeah, and it's almost being encouraged by the networks, as a way to keep fans engaged. Student athletes are also fans. They're not, it's not all about their sport. They're fans. So it's so pervasive. It's so ingrained in our society. It's now legal in 33 states, including Iowa. It's not frowned upon at all. And here we are. Okay. This is it. And to a certain degree, I say, why are we acting surprised here? I mean, I guess I'm not. And I don't know what the fix is.
Well, the problem is the fix is in, right?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Say that. I hope not. I hope that what we don't, we found out that the Alabama coach clearly was gambling on his own team, right? Or it's all evidence is pointing in that direction. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to convict him before the fact, but there's pretty strong evidence is pointing to the fact that he was putting a lot of money on his own team and scratched the starting pitcher and use that element to try to get over. So it's happened. Okay. We're not talking about something that hasn't happened. It's happened. There's been scandals in the past, but that's when gambling wasn't as pervasive and there was a shock value to it. Like, oh my God, there was gambling was frowned upon more back then. I don't think I'd say it's frowned upon in our society to a wide degree anymore. So again, I think it's just another example of a mess we've created. It's much like NIL.
Quick last thing. Obviously, the rain had popped up on us. There was going to be a double hitter going on tonight with Creighton and Nebraska for baseball. Do you think this is going to be another postponement here, or do you think they're going to be able to get it done? And if they do play, do you think they can steal a couple from Creighton after going down to number 23 Maryland?
Yeah, here's the thing. Right now it's in Lincoln. I'm sitting outside Planet Fitness, and it is fine. Yeah, you could play right now. I don't know what exactly it's like in Omaha, but they need these games. They need these games.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say games, plural. I just got to think that right now, that I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. You know, Eric, you understand because you played team sports. I don't want to pretend like I know what their locker room's like confidence-wise, but you know, I mean, there's some serious questions right now, and you need to get rolling now. I mean, this is the time of year if you're going to make a push. You got to get it going pretty quick here. Now, listen, the thing that you have to add in this is scratch the NCAA tournament at large bid. It's off the table. Okay, so I'm not talking about that. I guess what I'm talking about is building momentum toward the league tournament, which you better get in, by the way. I mean, there's no guarantees at this point they're going to get in the league tournament. I'd say they're pretty safe, but you know, they got work to do.
Yeah.
So I think if you're a team leader, you're thinking about that. Hey guys, we got to start building momentum. It's not going to happen easily. Take steps, and one good step. Wouldn't it be a really good step to beat Creighton tonight in 2 games?
Yeah.
Never a bad thing to beat Creighton.
Yeah.
No, and they need it. I mean, come on, what's the conversation if they lose both those games? I mean, come on, it just gets a little rough.
Yeah. Doubt begins to creep in, and you don't ever want to have that when you're talking about needing to make a run at the end of the season. So yeah, that is definitely so true.
Yeah, for sure.
Steve, as always, appreciate the insight. Husker football moves into summer. We'll catch up with you some more on that next week. Hopefully, maybe get some Big Ten headlines in as well, including some fascinating Big Ten West quarterback battles. But that's for another day. Appreciate your insight on the stuff happening over in the Big Ten offices and in Iowa. And we'll look forward to hearing you tomorrow morning.
All right, really interesting, guys. I appreciate it. Take care.
Once again, Steve Sipple, early break with Sip and Jake, and Coach Bill Bush, of course, and writing for Husker Online with us here on the block. Let's cross it over. DP and Kenny in the building today. Our boy Jay is out. Wish him the best. Should be back tomorrow, at least as far as I know, but that's okay. Strick and I will chop it up with DP and Kenny on the other side.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben at 419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Some kids worry about making the sports team. Others worry about where they'll sleep tonight. In Lincoln, 300 kids are in need of a safe and loving home. Cedars is here for them, but we do need your help. A gift to Cedars makes an immediate impact on Lincoln's kids. And on Give to Lincoln Day, your gift goes even further. I'm Jim Blue, president of the Cedars organization, and I'm asking you to go to givetolincoln.com to make your gift to Cedars and support Lincoln's kids today.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more to apply, go to continental-.
Continental today.
Hi, Sean, we are celebrating a record sales month in April, and we're going to let it roll and crank up in the month of May. We have some big discounts and special interest rates going on this selected new in-stock Sierras and Silverados. Buy a new or Sierra, 9% interest. You heard right now, 0.9% interest. We have outstanding specials on all of our GM certified needs. Stop on in and see us or check us out online at couplecars.com. You'll be glad you did. New discount must trade in and finance with the roof credit.
The Southern Pecan Cake from Beatrice Bakery. They don't just let you call anything Southern, especially when it's baked right here in Nebraska. There are standards you have to meet, like a rich, decadent, moist caramel cake? Check. Bursting with too many large pecans to count? Check. Big enough to share with the whole group? Check. But delicious enough that you won't want to share? A big check on that one. The Southern Pecan Cake, the newest cake to the Beatrice Bakery lineup. Try it for yourself at Beatrice Bakery. Online at BeatriceBakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you use your family, your budget. We eliminate the confusion. You'll be enjoying your new installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
I was intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish all the moms out there a happy Mother's Day. We have this weekend, but in everyday life too. It's important message, Art, Mike, and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
This Mother's Day, prepare an incredible meal for her without all the dishes. With the Venue Mother's Day prepared fresh in-house by our chefs. These meals are ready to heat and eat, with packages for 2 to 4 people or 6 to 8. And your choice of juicy beef tenderloin, herb roasted chicken, pork tenderloin, or our famous 6-pepper crusted prime rib. Meal packages come with sides, and we have many add-ons available to complete your feast. Order today at venue.com/Mother's Day. That's venuedelivered.com/Mother's Day.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers and maybe a few thunderstorms later today, too, with a high of around 81. Tonight, we'll see another chance of showers and storms with a low of around 60. And tomorrow, we'll see a continued chance of showers and storms. We'll see an afternoon high tomorrow of around 80. Meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 Ticket and the Ticket FM.
With Stricken 7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Stricken Austin back with you one more time here for On the Block, joined by DP and Kenny. Gentlemen, how are we doing this afternoon?
Good, a little wet.
So,
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
We ain't gonna be too crazy on this one.
Why not?
This is pretty simple.
Loosen up.
This is pretty simple.
Loosen up.
We got into it a little bit earlier with Rock Nasty, Ramel Lloyd Sr. And you know, I know DP is definitely a basketball connoisseur, and I know you definitely put your eyes to it in you know, with some value as well. But going back into 2013, just a lot of things that happened around that time. The game was starting to change. A man by the name of Mark Jackson was quite, you know, had a great interest in sparking the change of this game with a young player by the name of Steph Curry, and then also the addition of a young man by the name of Klay Thompson. And in that, made it to the playoffs, didn't go as far as second round. had guys on that team by the name of Monte Ellis.
Mm-hmm.
There was some discussion about a trade, but let's just not go into that rabbit hole. But let's deal with the fact of how much do you feel that Mark Jackson played a part in who the Splash Brothers are today, as far as opening up the door for them to become who they are, and seeing something in them that probably others did not at that time, and that is them being probably one of the better combos of all time.
You took the words out of my mouth. I mean, he saw something in those two, Steph being as small as he was, but a good shooter. Clay, a good shooter coming out of UW. So he saw
Washington
something.
State.
Washington State. So he saw something in both of those gentlemen and gave him the opportunity. He laid the foundation for Steve Kerr to come in, and Steve Kerr took off with it. So he deserves a lot of credit for that. I know he probably doesn't think he does, but to me, he does. Being a Mark Jackson fan, from when he played, when he coached, him on calling the games, knowing him, he probably wouldn't want it. He doesn't need that to solidify validate him, but he deserves something. He surely deserves something for that.
Most coaches coach either to the way they played or against the way they played. Mark Jackson identified 2 second-generation players from high IQ, high work ethic families.
Yep.
So, and then being a New York baller, what you learn is trust of the like. Are they ballers? In the sense that they're going to do whatever it takes. They're going to find a way to play the game of basketball at the highest level. They don't make excuses. Neither one of them went into the excuse game. Neither one of them allowed it to change where they went to college, why they went to that college, or what they did when they got there. And they had the family support, the right kind of family support. Not the, hey, it's all about me, dad, father.
Yep.
But more, if you're going to step into my fraternity, you're going to honor it with respect, dad. So as a coach, you're choosing. Would I want them as teammates? Do I want to be around them? And then that other thing is, do they have something that I would not want to play against? And both of them provide something that Mark Jackson, as a guy who defended at a high level, would tell you, I would have difficulty in dealing with either of them. And then in making the choice between those two and the Ellis crew that was in front of them, he needed dogs to get the job. He had to have Monte Ellis and that crew to get the job. To keep the job, he needed a different type. Now, I get bothered about coaches being put under the moving goalpost scenario that you took Golden State from the abyss again to being relevant. And the fan base and the ownership wasn't satisfied with the pace in which he was working. Trust is the biggest word when it comes to professional sports, owners, coaches, fans. Trust. And they didn't trust Mark, and that bothered me. It took me a couple of years with Kerr before I would fully accept Steve Kerr, because I thought, oh, you playing with Mark Jackson's house money. You're paying off the investment, and Nebraska fans can relate, right? That, oh, you come in and have some success, and we give him partial credit to the dude that was here before you, rather than giving you credit for the work on your own, which is valid and fair. But then you get to the point where, is that enough? And sometimes the answer is, yeah. Sometimes working at 80% of your successor is good enough. Sometimes it's not. Fan bases make that decision all the time. You know what? We were national championship level, and now we're conference championship level, but not quite there. Are you satisfied with it? Be careful what you ask for, because the universe pays attention and they'll give it to you.
Station identification, and then we'll tidy up with this segment.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
To your point, DP, Mark Jackson never showed he couldn't do more with the Splash Brothers, right? He didn't get them fully actualized. He got them to that point, but Mark Jackson was never given that chance that Steve Kerr was. So maybe they don't become what they are today if Mark Jackson remains the head coach, but we can't say they wouldn't have been.
I don't know that they don't. I don't know that they don't.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
My greater issue is that why Mark Jackson isn't coaching.
Yeah.
Like, period, point blank, it makes no sense that he took a franchise that was in the grind, made them competitive at a high level, was great in leadership because he cared about the game that he coached, because we know some coaches that don't really care about that fraternity or the way the game's being carried forward. Like, they don't have that investment. Mark Jackson did, and it shows up in his analyst work. That's why he's such a good analyst, is that he stays connected to the game. He cares about it. People talk to him in real words, in real form.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I don't understand why he was never a coach again.
I have to agree with you. And you got some, Kenny?
To me, if I'm Mark Jackson, I don't have to deal with the stuff that comes along with coaching, meaning ownership.
That was what I was going to have to ask. That was what I was going to ask.
Well, I was going to ask Kenny,
So he's doing something he loves. Not that he doesn't love basketball.
Yeah.
But now he can be.
Well, he ain't lost in 6 years.
There you go.
That was where I was going to go next.
Yeah.
I was actually going to take it there.
He's enjoying basketball, sitting behind.
That's why I'm in here. On sidelines.
That's where I was going to push back to you.
Right.
So I was going to throw it back at you. I was going to say, well, DP, now what would you rather do? Would you rather be kind of doing and talking about the things you love, or would you rather be dealing with the aspects that come with coaching?
I haven't as a coach, and this is uniform, in 3 sports in 4 cities over 20 some odd years. I won 78% of the games I ever coached. 78%. I'm 100% behind this microphone. Like, I ain't lost no game since I've been in Lincoln.
He ain't got to answer questions. He doesn't have to answer tough questions in front of the media.
Yeah.
Right.
He is the media.
Yeah.
Now he's asking the questions.
You're the boss?
Well, it's it's funny. So the athletic director at the school I was with in Houston, Texas, and he looked me dead square in the eye when he first hired me and said, one thing, get out of your head that you're going to win here. That's not the kind of school we have. That's not the kind of athletes we have. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You told me you got smart kids. He goes, yeah, I have the smartest kids in the state. I'm like, oh, we're going to win. He goes, they're going to win. The expectation changes. And then we won. We literally won 80% of our games while I was in Houston. At the end of that run, and when I had my surgery that was going to put me out for a bit, he said, because I don't know how to say this, but you probably need to run your own ship.
Mm.
That's what I don't like dealing with, is dealing with people who are in the young people business who are doing grown-up person business. Like, you making business decisions that got nothing to do with the people you there to protect. And the kids need solid adults in the room. I still say this with the NBA, with pro sports. There still has to be a grown-up in the room. Like, I don't blame any player who is under somebody's watch and something goes astray that the person in charge didn't control or entitle. Like, it's simple. So, okay, let people. The reason why I'm here, and Kenny, I applauded when Kenny said, you know what, I still got this bug. Like, I'm cheering for him. I'm rooting for him. I'm also going to whisper, look, when that bug bites you funny, come on home. Because he's going to go educate young kids who need him. We want him here. Those young people in those communities need Kenny. And I know that. Like, I would ride with Kenny. There are a lot of coaches, if they told me they were coaching, there are dudes we know that if they said they was coaching, man, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll be over here. But Kenny, the game needs Kenny in a way that's unique. So I'm applauding it.
Yeah.
But
Appreciate
I
it.
make that choice that, I literally I got an offer last Thursday. Hey man, need you. Nah, dog. Y'all ain't gonna treat me the way y'all treat coaches.
Yeah.
No, sir.
We got a minute left. Go ahead.
That brings us right back to where we started the show. Plain and simple, it does. And the importance of being in the game for kids. Like, we're adults. We're in the room for a reason because we've been there, but it can't be about us if we're in those young people's lives.
Cannot be.
It that should be question 1A of every coaching interview ever.
But some guys will sugarcoat it to make you think it's about the kid, but then it truly isn't.
You and I will open with that very thing.
That's good.
Because that is the direction it needs to go.
That's a lot of what you're starting to see in the AAU systems of today. It's not really about the kid. It becomes about the how much can I get the endorsements of the shoe companies. Great stuff. Be on the other side. Listen to what they're going to get into. They're going to dig into this topic we just topped into. We're right here. We have another day. Hump Wednesday will be tomorrow, 2 to 4. You will find us on the block right here at 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We're out of here. Austin and Strick. Peace.
Keep summer green with Utzine and more irrigation started taking in older systems and cheapy summer job in that long
summer green. Judd's Irrigation 402-420-6277